So with that, let's get into it. This is chapter 3, starting with comparison operators. I'm going to be reading from the course and also experimenting with some things along the way. There's a nice interactive included coding terminal over here, or coding editing pad, or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, to get started, comparison operators. When coding, it's necessary to be able to compare two values. Boolean logic is the name for these kinds of comparison operators that always result in true or false. I'm going to take a pause right there and point out that it's interesting that it's always true or false. There's never a maybe. Whereas a lot of questions you ask, maybe or I don't know, might be a reasonable answer. But in programming, when we work with Boolean logic, it's always either true or false. I think that's an interesting thing. So the operators, we have less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, equal value, equal type and equal value, not equal value, not equal type or not equal value. That last one is kind of interesting, and I'm going to dig into a little bit, but let's go through these examples. I'm going to comment out. Oh, can I comment out? How do I comment things in JavaScript? I think it's // yeah. So let's just console.log 5 less than 6. Try that example. I know, try again. I know I'm doing it wrong. Maybe I won't run actually every one of those examples. I don't know if I can handle the sorry, try again so many times. So 5 less than 6 evaluates to true. 5 greater than 6 evaluates to false. 5 greater than or equal to 6 evaluates to false. 5 less than or equal 6 evaluates to true. 5 double equals 6 evaluates to false. 5 triple equals 6 evaluates to false also. 5 not equals 6 evaluates to true. And 5 not double equals 6 also evaluates to true, because although they're the same type, they're not the same value. And that leads to an interesting point. Let's try 5 not equal quote 5. What is this one going to say? False, because they are equal. But if I do not double equal, then it's true, because they are in fact not the same type. That's interesting. Note on equality. Triple equals 1, 2, 3 and not double equal are used more often than double equal and not equal, because it's more common that developers want to ensure that two values are the same type and the same value, rather than just an equivalent value. For example, let player health string equal 100, let player health number equal 100. Player health string double equal player health number is true. Player health string triple equal player health number is false. That kind of touches on the same kind of idea that I was playing with over here. Assignment. Change the operators in the code so that each statement evaluates to true if it doesn't already. So let's uncomment this stuff. Change the operators in the code so that each statement evaluates to true. We need 5 less than 6. We need 5 not equal 6. We need 5 double equal 5, because they're different types, but they evaluate to an equal value. And this one already evaluates to true, so we can just run. Oh, hey, this little thing kind of dances when you're ready to move to the next thing. That is kind of cute. Ha! Do you see it dancing up there? I'm gonna let it dance for a little bit and see if there's any questions in the chat before I move on to the next bit. Oh, also let's get a longer hourglass timer set up, so I know to take a break eventually. Okay, good enough. Now let's look at comparison operator evaluations. When a comparison happens, the result of the comparison is just a Boolean value. It's either true or false. Like I was saying before, it's always one of two options. There's no in between, there's no maybe. Take the following example. Let is bigger equal 5 greater than 4, and let is bigger equal true. In both of the above cases, we're creating a Boolean variable is bigger with a value of true. Since 5 greater than 4, since 5 greater than 4 is in fact true, is bigger is always assigned the value of true. And okay, the course raises the question, why would I use the comparison if I can just set it to true? Like up here, is bigger, we could just give it true. Why did we need to do a comparison between 5 and 4 since we already know the answer with 5 and 4? Well, let's see what the course says. You wouldn't in this case. However, let's imagine instead of hard coding the numbers 5 and 4, we had some dynamic variables that we don't know the values of. For example, perhaps you're making a video game and need to keep track of players' scores. In order to calculate who wins, you would need to write something like, assuming player 1 points and player 2 points are defined and changed somewhere else in the game's code, we have let player 1 wins equal player 1 points greater than player 2 points. Console.log player 1 wins. Prints true when player 1 is winning, otherwise prints false. I should put my phone on silent. Assignment. Use comparison operators to assign the correct Boolean values to the missing variables. Don't edit above this line, don't edit below this line. So here we go. Is Bob taller than Elon? We set Bob height greater than Elon height. That's going to come out to true. What about Sarah taller than Elon? This is going to come out to true. Sarah height greater than Elon height. And finally, Jill taller than Sarah. Jill height greater than Sarah height. I'm curious what this code does. It just console.log, so just prints the type of each of these variables and then their value. Great, good job. Okay. On to the next one. Comparison practice. Let car size equal 4, let truck size equal 5, let is smaller equal car size less than truck size. Is smaller is true. Assignment on line 4, create a variable called enough armor and set it to true or false depending on whether hero armor is greater than or equal to enemy damage. And it's going to console.log whether or not your armor can withstand the enemy's blows. Create a variable, let enough armor equal on whether hero armor is greater than or equal to hero armor greater than or equal to enemy damage. And we see that the result is going to be false. Okay, cool. Changing in place. It's fairly common to want to change the value of a variable based on its current value. For example, we could have let player score equal 4, player score equals player score plus 1, then player score now equals 5. Fair enough. Then let player score equal 4, player score equals player score minus 1, player score now equals 3. And, you know, this slipped right by me, but the course points out that don't let the fact that the expression player score equal player score minus 1 is not a valid mathematical expression be confusing. It doesn't matter, it is valid code. It's valid because the way the expression should be read in English is assign to player score the old value of player score minus 1. This is an example that comes to a book I was reading the other day on stream that talked about declarative versus procedural knowledge. In a math equation, you would declare that player score is equal to player score, just like that. And that would be a declarative fact. But here, we have a procedural, not a fact, but a procedural piece of information that says player score minus 1 is the thing to do, and then assign it back to player score. Okay, assignment. Add 234340 to the value of player score, then print it. It's bugging me out that I can't do command / to undo comments. So we're simply doing player score equal player score plus 234340. Let's run that. Correct, good job. On to the next dancing arrow. Increment / decrement. If we're changing a number and simply want to increment add 1 or decrement 1, there are special operators for that. Let shield armor equal 4, shield armor plus plus, shield armor now equals 5. Another example says let shield armor equal 4, shield armor minus minus, shield armor now equals 3. Notice that shield armor plus plus is just shorthand for shield armor equals shield armor plus 1. Why does it need 2 pluses? I know this is like a thing in a lot of languages, but I wonder why we can't, because I guess 2 pluses makes it clear that we're not talking about shield armor plus 5, and we just forgot to write the 5. Okay, assignment. Decrement shield armor 5 times and print it after each decrementation. That's an interesting word. Shield armor minus minus, and we'll just do that a bunch of times. Shield armor minus minus, shield armor minus minus, shield armor minus minus, and shield armor minus minus. Okay, that's correct. Don't know what that has to do with comparisons. I guess we could compare whether it's less than what it was before, but I think it'll come together. If statements. It's often useful to only execute code if a certain condition is met. So now the course shows us the syntax of this. We have if, paren, condition, close paren, braces, do some stuff. And the stuff only happens if condition is true. Remember, going back to what I was saying, it's always either true or false. There's no maybe. For example, if Bob's score greater than Bill's score, console.log Bob wins. The assignment is take a look at the code, edit player health on line 1 so that the code prints dead. Don't edit code below this line, but let's do look at the code. We have if player health equals 0, console.long dead, and we have if player.health greater than 0, console.log alive. I'm going to be a little bit cheeky here, and because this only uses double equals, I can use quote 0 instead of just 0. I wonder if this will work, or if there's like something clever in the background that's gonna tell me I did something wrong. Let's find out. It got the right result, so it's happy. Just to make it clear, I could have done let player health equals 0 as an integer 0 or a number 0. Does it come through as an integer? I forget what the data types are in JavaScript. I probably learned that in this very course and then forgot about it. But correct, great job. This is more of the same. Complete line 4. It should only log the warning if number of swords is less than number of soldiers. Okay, so we write a condition here. Number of swords less than number of soldiers. It's going to console.log. We do not have enough swords for the army. Oops, I didn't mean to move that down at all. And it says that's correct. Let's move forward. If else. An if statement can be followed by 0 or more else if statements, which can be followed by 0 or 1 else statement. I guess statement, not statements, because there's only one of them. For example, if score is greater than high score, console.log high score beat. Else if score greater than second highest score, console.log you got second place. Else if score greater than third highest score, console.log you got third place. Else console.log better luck next time. So this is the syntax. We have for starters we have just a normal if statement, and then else if comes along and looks a lot like an if statement, but it has the else if keywords. Let's see what the course says about it down here. First, the if statement is evaluated. If it is true, then the if statement's body is executed, and all other else's are ignored. That makes sense because it says else. If the first if is false, then the next else if is evaluated, so that evaluates this score greater than second highest score. Likewise, if it is true, then its body is executed, that's the you got second place, and the rest are ignored. If none of the if statements evaluate to true, then the final else statement will be the only body executed. So if this condition and this condition and this condition go all to false, then we fall to the else case and we execute the better luck next time. The assignment says, complete the code, it's missing some conditions. It should print dead if player health is 0, otherwise it should print injured if player health is less than 5. If neither of those are the case, it should print alive. So what did it say? It said it should print dead if player health equals 0. I'm going to do a triple equal 0. Else if player health, it said if it's less than 5, then we console.log injured, else we console.log alive. And I'm going to test all of these cases. So let's try it with 10. We should see alive. I'm going to try it with 0. We should see dead. And go back to 4, which is what it was in the first place. And I wasn't really supposed to edit that. And see if it comes out the right way. And yeah, it says injured. Okay, moving forward. Losing your motivation is the worst thing that can happen. Invite a friend to do your course with you. If you're enjoying the course so far, invite a friend to work on it with you. Well, I'm kind of inviting the chat to work on it with me. Does that count? Oh, I got it. I completed the course. I don't want to go to the next course. I want to continue working on this course. If-else practice. Here are some basic rules with if-else blocks. You can't have an else-if or an else without an if. You can have an else without an else-if. So let's break that down. Can't have else if true no if. You can't have an else without an else if. So you can have if condition, else do, if condition do stuff, else do other stuff. Okay, that makes sense. Remember, to check if two values are the same, use the triple equal operator. Let same equal 5 triple equal 6, same is false. Same equal 6 triple equal 6, same is true. Okay, assignment. There is a bug in our code on line 4. Edit the code so that if current player name is the same as high scoring player name, it logs you are the highest scoring player. If they aren't the same, it should log you are not the highest scoring player. Oh, it's supposed to. On this condition, we have the wrong operator. We just need triple equals, so that when they are equal, it'll say you are the highest scoring player. Okay, fair enough. If else practice. Here are some basic rules with if else blocks. I think we might have read this already, but let's go through it anyway. You can't have an else if or an else without an if. You can't have an else without an else if, provided you have an if. You can have an else if without an else. We didn't cover that one before. Can have if condition 1 do stuff, else if condition 2 do other stuff. That's the end of it. We don't need to have an else, although it's nice to have an else to catch in case both of these conditions were not true. Assignment. Edit lines 5 and 7. They're missing their conditions. Oh, sure enough, they are. If current player name is the same as high scoring player, the code should print you are the highest scoring player. Okay. So we just drop in current player name and say that triple equals high scoring player name. That will log you are the higher scoring player. Else if current player name triple equals lowest scoring player name, then you console.log you are the lowest scoring player. Okay, let's try that. Okay. That works. What do we say, chat? Have we